Good evening, class. I'm Jin. It's my pleasure to share the speech entitled New Norm in Education. During the pandemic, online classes became a new norm, which brought us a lot of inconvenience and, unfortunately, the poor quality of teaching. In fact, I like physical classes more and prefer in-person communication and the traditional way of explaining everything clearly on a blackboard. Online classes can burn out students after long video calls, which is called Zoom fatigue. It can bring additional stress, both physically and mentally. Physically, we feel tired without getting enough exercise, and our eyes hurt after staring at the screen for such a long time. Mentally, we feel more anxious because of the increased eye contact, and it's hard to stay focused due to the distractions by all the things going on around you. Well, I believe all of those difficulties can be overcome if the remote students have enthusiasm for learning, but students can hardly change the teacher's teaching. In online classes, teachers should pay more effort to keep the quality of teaching and try harder to overcome the problems that can happen in distant classes. Often, I just tell myself to accept it. Well, I can learn by myself, so does college students. This makes me rethink the role of education. Although I like physical classes more, now I start getting more comfortable with online classes. I start previewing before the class, sometimes even finish the homework in advance, so I can explore deeper during the class. It's difficult for students to ask questions because it takes some time to understand the lessons. With preview, it's much easier to figure out what's confusing and get the answer during the class. This increases the interactions between students and the teacher. Also, I prefer to be the last staying online, so I can ask some questions outside the textbook to satisfy my curiosity. For me, these moments were more like a discussion than teaching. We exchange information and learn quickly. For me, that's the meaning of education, much more like what happens in the laboratory. We read research papers and share it with the professors. In fact, college students can learn by themselves, but we still need experts to guide us. In that case, the medium isn't that important as long as we can exchange our thoughts. Thank you for attention.